Atkins and pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Oh my gosh. Season 7, episode 9, Pie Mary, amazing. Also, listener, Maddie is not here today. We will get a summary from her a little bit later on. I got a recording, but we're welcoming Bryon from Citizens of Pawnee podcast. So exciting. Wait, did it start as a review for you too? Or was it just like getting people from the show? I can't remember.
The podcast for me originally started as doing individual episodes about the characters, like hence the name Citizens of Pawnee. So, like episode 1 was just about Leslie with just some other filler stuff in there. But by the time I got to like 26 or 27 episodes, something like that, it was like, I don't think I can do a full episode about like Brett and Harris, the animal control guys. So it was like, I'm running out of characters. So then I kind of came back and I just started picking random topics. It's like, all right, I'm going to talk about like my favorite things about the show, my worst things, why Tom Haverford sucks, things like this. And then, and then I kind of hit a wall and it was like, I want to talk about this show, but I don't really want to do a full rewatch. And then it was like, I'm going to do a full rewatch. So yeah, that kept me busy for another like 2 years. So 183 episodes.
Whoa. Did you start from season 1, episode 1 then? Like you did the pilot all the way through?
Yeah, it was really weird though, because I started, on so for the podcast, it was like episode 50 or something when I started the rewatch. So when you look at the titles, it's really weird. It's like episode 51, season 2 episodes. A lot of numbers in my titles. I just got out of control, but yeah.
I totally understand.
We did. And you guys are close too.
We did it. We're so close. We're getting there. Last season in the home stretch, I feel, which is amazing. And I'm so glad I reached out when I did, when you were still reviewing too, because it's so easy to just kind of like talk for hours about to another Parks fan. You know what I mean?
Well, and I felt bad because it's like, you reached out a long time ago, like when I was done, and I was constantly like just working with bad equipment. And so it was kind of embarrassing. So now it's like, I got a nice new MacBook and everything. And now that I've been done for a few months and you're still going, I was just like, I wonder if Holly will have me. Like, I miss talking about this show so much. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's the best. It's so fun. I'll talk about Parks all the time. So love that we're doing this and that we're doing it again. Amazing. Okay.
Absolutely.
So Pie Mary original air date was February 10th, 2015, if you can believe it or not. And I'm just going to be like so real. I totally forgot because I always forget things as I'm doing the rewatch, why things were the way that they were. And I was like, oh my God, it's a pun. It's a play on words in Cory Booker's words.
Yeah. Yes. Across the aisle. It's a play. Yeah. It's a good call.
Okay, so this was written by Emma Fletcher and Rachna Fruckbaum. I'm so sorry. I'm probably not saying that right. But they were kind of writing partners in Parks. They also wrote season 6's Galentine's Day, which is so wonderful, so memorable. This will be their last writing credit on the show of Parks, but they're also producers. And Emma has worked on the show Crepopolis. Have you heard of that show? It's like a animated... I haven't watched it yet.
It's on the. Neither have I, but it's like some animation domination, one of those. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Anyway, that was on Fox for a while, and she's worked on a bunch of other things. And then Rachna was also a producer on Shrinking, Fresh Off the Boat, just like that. So many amazing shows that I do watch. And yeah, just like their handprint is kind of all over this. And then this was directed by Greg Daniels, which how exciting! Executive producer extraordinaire, Office, King of the Hill, SNL guy. Love that so much. I didn't realize that he didn't direct too much of Parks. He directed the pilot of Parks, but he didn't direct anything until this, and then this is kind of his last one. Obviously, he directed Hunting Trip in season 2, which was also iconic. But this will be his last directing credit. So he's only directed 3 episodes, and then he was primarily just the EP for the whole show, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think this was like Michael Schur when he left The Office. It was kind of like, all right, because they're both credited as creators for Parks and Rec, but I believe Michael Schur was more 1A, and then Greg Daniels.
Right.
But yeah, that is a big deal anytime you see a name like that directing.
Yeah, Totally. Oh my gosh. Well, and especially like as we're getting closer to the end of the season, it's like it's really nice to see all the people who were really at the start of it
Yeah.
come back, which is what we've been talking about a lot in this season, where they're bringing back characters that maybe only appeared like once or twice, or maybe a lot, like Joan, and bringing them back in the last season is kind of sentimental, but also so great to build on the world of Pawnee.
Absolutely. We have a couple in this episode. Actually, we're going to talk about that.
Yes,
I'm excited about. So
totally.
Good stuff.
Okay. Well, I have summary written, so I'm going to play this recording from Maddie, as she is not here with us today, but she wrote a summary and she also has some thoughts. So here is her summary now.
All right.
I am here to give a summary on Primary. April takes Ron on a scavenger hunt to find his house key. Ben and Leslie go back and forth on their participation in the Primary. Donna and Gary bond over a sewer grate. And I say Jerry, but I mean Gary. It's hard to get out of that. I love this episode for a lot of different reasons. I'll just go through a couple of my favorite moments. My favorite Jen Barkley line, as Holly is well aware, happens in this episode when she yells, "Poncho!" I just love that so much. The delivery, like the Queen Catherine Hahn, the way she delivers this is so beautifully done. The physical comedy of it, along with her facial expression and the delivery of Poncho, she's just so stoic. And then the punch of Poncho it's just such a beautiful moment and so relatable to so many parents out there. I'm sure. I know I felt connected to that scene. I felt connected to that scene prior to being a parent just because I worked around kids a lot. And I was kind of more the Jen going into people's homes and just having to accept the whatever stickiness was there. But now being a parent, it hits different, but still is just so funny and wonderful. I love this connection that we get with Ron and April here in this episode. It's a nice rounding out of their relationship. I know we still have several episodes left and we'll still see them interact, but this felt like a very pointed, let's give Ron and April a moment to reconnect and to show their bond together, him accepting that she's leaving, and seeing her grow. And I just loved that. The writing is so beautiful too, that the way they use their past to connect to the future, bringing us back to that relationship of when April was his assistant is just so beautifully done. And I loved that aspect of it. It's also will always be one of my favorites when Andy makes fun of April for having a crush on him. It's just so cute and so funny. And just so well done. And I love that he validates her later. And he's like, I had a crush on you too. It's great. So Donna laughing at Jerry is also just so funny. I love that she is just giggling and she's like, this takes me back. And she's not helping. She's just watching him kind of drop everything down into the sewer. But the way she shows up the next morning is just a support to him and is really great and wonderful and very Donna of her. So I loved all of that. It also was the producer's cut, which I loved. So the cold open that we saw in the producer's cut, I don't remember being in that episode. And then there were a couple, like a moment with Jen Barkley that I don't remember being in the original episode. I know that Holly, you'll take everybody through those moments, but I really enjoyed getting to see those scenes and have it round out the episode. It makes the scavenger hunt that April puts Ron through just a little bit more special. My last comment is about Ben and Leslie. This episode came out 11 years ago, and sadly, it's not something we can look back and say, oh my gosh, do you remember that that's how things used to be? This is still a struggle, what Ben and Leslie go through in this episode of, you can't be too feminist, but you can't be too like with men, and you can't, like, there's just no perfect middle ground for anybody. And I think what they do is just so beautiful. Ben and Leslie are the medium. And I think it's just such a beautiful representation of how we should be looking at it, the healthy way of looking at a working mom and a dad who, also really cares about his children. Like Ben brings up a great point. Nobody asks men, like, if they miss their kids while they're at work. And so, really sad that we look back and it's been 11 years and it's still an ongoing issue. But I think it was just handled so beautifully, and they're such a great model of how we should be looking at that, at the dynamic between men and women and being parents and working. And what's the expectation of us, so I think they did a beautiful job, and great episode. Sorry to miss it, but excited to hear everything that Holly's ready to teach us today.
Yay, that was a fun summary and thoughts. Yes, we will get into all of that in so much detail. Yes, oh my gosh, I love this episode very much.
This is when I was watching, I've watched it a few times, obviously. I even went back and listened to my episode just to make sure I didn't forget any little tidbits and whatnot. But it's funny because it's like, of all the episodes, this is the one that I get called on for. And it's just like, yep, the one where men look like just, I'm sorry, are we allowed to swear on this? Just effing.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right, okay. Yeah, and I love the performance by, Chris Gethard in this, and we'll get to it. But yeah, this is, it's a purposely written that way, obviously, to make men look stupid. And I'm totally fine with that, especially this time we're in right now. But yeah, it's just funny. Like I was thinking about it. It's just like, yeah, I guess it would probably be kind of funny to have a man's perspective on this episode. So
yeah, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they do a really good job of writing this. I think that one of the things that I really enjoy about this last season is that they're kind of like I've talked about with characters even, where they're bringing it back to their like political satire because they did a lot of that in the first couple seasons. You know, like Dexhart's scandal was a real scandal and they like made a joke about that and all that kind of stuff. So and with city council and campaigns and all that kind of stuff was way more, real from like they were pulling from things that were actually in the political world. So I think in this season with Ben running and with Leslie getting her new job, going to DC, all that kind of stuff, I think it's really interesting how they are making the satire even better. And it's just always so funny to me how well they do at making you laugh at like when you want to shake your head. You know what I mean?
The thing like that when they go on Joan's show, it is just such a ridiculous panel of people they have. They have the woman who's against feminism and then the man who's upset that that woman's agreeing with him. You know, it's like, it's written. I mean, you're supposed to be like shaking your head like these idiots, but it is, like you said, it's written so funny to just like make people like that look so stupid. And it's just fantastic. I love that scene so much with that panel.
It's so good. Oh my God. Well, so starting with the beginning of the episode, we open on the Harvest Festival, or another Harvest Festival, which is, again, something that's so sentimental to me. It's something that we started off, which was like one of the things that Leslie, first of all, wanted to like save everybody's jobs with, but also proving to Ben. And then also kind of like, I don't know, in her head, I think it was one of the biggest things she's ever pulled off. And now look at where she's come from and what she's done since then. It's just amazing, like looking at where it all started. It's so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love seeing the how big it's gotten too. It's so nice.
It's weird. So I was going to ask you about that because I wasn't sure if you guys cover the producers' cuts on here because I didn't really on my show because a lot of these episodes have been released since I finished. But either way, so with this, is it okay if I talk about it?
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
Okay. So yeah, anyone listening, if you hadn't seen it, the producers' cut starts off with Craig giving Ron this insane scavenger hunt that Ron figures out, within a matter of seconds. And it's like, I thought it was really, immediately, which obviously destroys Craig. But I like that they left that out. And I understand why, because we've only seen the scavenger hunt obsession with Ron one other time, and that was in season 4. And then to have 2 in one episode, I think it would have almost been like them being like, hey, just in case you forgot. So I like that instead. The actual episode is Ron blowing up, just like I love, So I'm happy they kind of didn't do this opening.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones that works either way. We talk about the producer's cut and a lot, and on the Peacock release, but I also do all the deleted scenes like on the DVDs and stuff.
Okay.
So there are times when I'll like play a deleted scene and I'm like, man, I'm so sad they cut that because it doesn't make it makes more sense if it's in there, but like it works either way. But there are plenty of times when I'm glad that they cut the deleted scene because it just like doesn't really add to the story or to the show. And it is only 21, 22 minutes or whatever. Yeah, for this one, I felt like I could go either way. I like all of the random ass little like like terms he uses. He talks about like the columnar transposition is a phrase, and he's just spouting nonsense. Like he had to use his mental sextant, and Craig talking about how he like gave this to the Indiana Puzzlers Guild, and they gave it 5 Sherlock pipes. Like all of that stuff was just really random and funny to me. But again, like I said, I think it could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was. I think they just, whoever wrote that intro, the 5 Sherlock pipes is where I was kind of like, all right, this is great, but it's like maybe a little bit much, like it was. But that, it's like I said though. I mean, like the scene was very funny, but I in my opinion, I was fine with just the other scavenger hunt. So. But
yeah, totally. And I mean, like Maddie said in the summary too, it is interesting that like it's not that it necessarily makes it like more funny or anything like that, but it is kind of cool to show that like April and him have this little like moment together, and it like rectifies that. But like if we didn't see that, we wouldn't know that he needed to have been rectified. You know what I mean? So like I totally get it. And I also I thought this was worth mentioning too, that at the beginning of when Craig comes in, like Donna has that whole moment where she's like telling Leslie, Craig might care even more than you. Like it's crazy, but he might, and because he's kind of insane. And so I like that he's at the head of the Harvest Festival. I mean, I know it's right here, it's just a scavenger hunt, but I can tell that he is, with what we've seen from him being in the Parks Department and kind of taking over Leslie and Ron's role. I just really like that they brought that back, that he is now in charge where she was in charge at the beginning. So that was really nice continuity for me, like taking up the torch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point. Very good point.
Yeah. Okay, so now Jen Barkley is with Ben and Leslie at their house. We're talking shop. Leslie loves shop talk. And I like this line of, my favorite types of talks are pillow, real, and girl. And Ted.
TED Talk, of course. So this is going to sound like a gripe, and I guess it not really a gripe, but I have daughters, love my kids, but I just kind of think that them having kids in the show was completely unnecessary. I know it fleshed out their characters a little bit more, but this part where the kid runs by with the paint and or maybe that was in the original cold open, I think it was, when she yells out, "Steven," I think that is the only time Ben or Leslie address one of the kids by their name. Because even later on in the episode, Leslie's like, all kids ran out, all kids back to sleep. One of them got out. It's like, there's only 3 of them. Why would you say one of them got out instead of just the name of, So I don't know. As a parent, to me, that just seems like, you don't need it, but it's fine how they did it. Obviously, we didn't have to see this whole, them bringing up the kids. But sometimes I just feel like the kids were completely unnecessary. But the scene is great, though, for the poncho part and everything. I don't know. Just an opinion.
I love that you're bringing this up because you're not the only one that felt that way. So when they first had their kids, there was a lot of reviews that were like, this isn't necessary, like, or if it is necessary, like, why aren't they in the show more? All these kinds of things. So you're not the only one that feels that way. I do feel like they intentionally, from what I read anyway, they intentionally didn't keep them in the show as much because they wanted to focus more on Ben and Leslie as like the couple and their career and all that kind of stuff and whatever. But the only time Maddie and I have talked about the kids being kind of like, what's going on is the Leslie and Ron episode when Ben locks them in the Parks Department. And then he goes up to his office and says, like, I'm going to stay here the whole night. There's a baby monitor. You can like call us. And we were like, actually, though, who is watching the kids?
That's a good point. I mean, like, there's Ron.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm sure Ben figured it out, but I was like, I'm sure Ben hired a babysitter or something. But we were just like, why do you have to stay here all night?
Well, that's funny too, because later on in this episode, remember Ben asked, he's like, wait, who is watching the kids, by the way? And she's like, don't worry, my mom.
So true. So he's the one that really doesn't care. Or doesn't notice.
That's it. But no, like I said, I mean, like, I think it's not like they focused a ton of time on the kids. So it's not like I'm like, this is stupid, this is idiot. There's just certain times I'm like, we didn't need that. But overall, they did it just enough to give us a little more character development. And we got some great stuff with like the whole, like the reveal of the triplets and everything. And then just, it actually for this season, it gives us more to, like to root for Leslie as a mom as well as everything she's doing. So I do, like I said, I'm kind of up and down with the kids thing. But overall, I think that the way that they played it, not too much, was good enough. So
I agree. No, I agree. I think that I'm kind of on the fence sometimes, but for the most part, I think they added the kids as much as was necessary. And if anything, it just gave them storylines, because I remember that was the other behind the scenes moment where Amy did not want to be pregnant on screen again because she was pregnant in real life a couple times, and she was like, I'm not going to be pregnant. She can be a mom, I guess, but I'm not going to be pregnant on screen. So that's why they kind of skipped that whole thing, and then she just had the kid.
I was fine with that too. Yeah.
Me too. Because we don't need to see. I mean, we talked about how it would be fun to see her go through pregnancy in a way, just with how she deals with her type A non-sleeping kind of stuff. But you can kind of imagine that you don't really need it, and that's not what we're here for in the show for. Personally, I'm here to see Leslie succeed and have her relationships with these characters that we've built 7 seasons of. But yeah, I did. It is so funny that you say that because, like I said, I don't really mind the kids. But when I research, I look at the IMDb and there's a Steven and there's 2 other kids, and I can't remember, to be completely honest with you.
Sonia, I believe, is the girl, and then I think
okay, yes,
William or I don't know, but yes, exactly. We don't even know their names.
Who's Sonia?
Yeah, could be the boy. I don't know.
The point.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the point. Maybe they didn't want us to know the names or care about the names as much. Whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, that is really funny. Yes, listener, let us know how you feel too. Even though I know that I read a lot of the reviews, and you're not alone, Bryon. But
okay.
I think they did.
My kids are gonna hear this and be like, "You hate us, don't you?"
Okay, so Ben asks why Jen is wearing this poncho, and she says that every surface in their house is sticky, which, side note, I'm jumping ahead a tiny bit, but when he comes by with the paint, I kind of thought it was going to be a lollipop or candy or something. I kind of forgot that it was paint.
That's so funny you say that, because listening back to my episode, I said the same exact thing because I thought it was a lollipop. But remember, there's that episode where Leslie hasn't slept in 3 days and she's got a lollipop on her. Ron tells her that, and she's like, "Oh, I'm lollipopping. It's what the kids do." I think that's why I did that too. I thought it was food or something. So
yeah, well, and because Jen also says the whole thing of every surface being sticky, and I was like, oh, so it's got to be food.
That's true. Yeah,
something candy. Yeah, but yeah, totally. Anyhow, so I was also going to ask your opinion, because this, to me, I don't know, the more I see it, the more this looks like a different house than the one Ben proposed in, the really wooden one.
Yeah.
It just looks less like the one that we saw when she originally buys it.
See, this is you're right. I guess I didn't really put a lot of thought into it, but there's a lot of kind of confusion in season 7 with, are they in Washington right now or are they in Pawnee? Because it's kind of discussed that they have houses in both. Which is weird because I think it's in 2 episodes or whatever when they're living in Washington and Ron just shows up at their front door and they're just like, "Oh, hey, Ron." It's not weird. Yeah, so they talk about it many times, and it was another thing I thought was unnecessary with them having to be going back and forth in between the two. But actually here I'm not sure if they're in Washington or Pawnee, so
no, I would think they're in Pawnee.
Okay.
I think they're in Pawnee I don't think they've moved.
Oh yeah,
officially
you're
yet,
right. This whole episode's in Pawnee. I'm sorry.
Haven't. No, you're good. No, because I do think you're right that they go back and forth, especially when she accepts that new job and everything. But we haven't really seen their Washington house yet. So I was noticing that this house in particular looked different last episode, actually, or was it? Yeah, I think it was last episode. I can't remember. But yeah, I just thought that it was a weird continuity moment. It's fine. It looks nice, but it was just a little different. So
yeah,
doesn't matter. Anyway. So then we have a photo op with Grizzle, and we have to skip the pie baking event and the squash toss because they're going through their campaign schedule and all this stuff. And Jen asks if they're ready because the campaign is about to get very intense. And Ben obviously is like, of course I'm ready. It's fine. And he also made this pump up mix, which had a surprising amount of Pat Benatar. Oh my God.
Pat Benatar. Really love Pat Benatar. She's so great.
She's great.
Oh yeah.
But really, Jen was talking to Leslie, saying Leslie's like, yeah, I run a campaign. I know all the issues. I know everything. But of course, to Jen, that is a bad thing because smart people freak the voters out. And this is one of my favorite lines of all time. I mean, I know it's like kind of niche, but when Leslie says, well, I think you're underestimating the voters and like what they can understand and comprehend and stuff. And Jen laughs this crazy laugh and says, I don't think that's possible. I think about this all the time because I listen to a couple political podcasts and they're always giving the voter like so much credit of like voters are smart, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
No,
some of them are.
No,
obviously Leslie's positivity is like, of course she thinks that, but for the common person to think that, I mean, I'm not calling myself dumb, but like, you know, I have to research heavily before I vote, so I don't know. It's just something that's funny to me that Jen says.
Yeah. No, it's I love the whole part too with her just like, well, just what they do with the other wives. It's just like we just like kind of like, what did she say? We give you a Valium and just shove you off to the side or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like so degrading, but it's hilarious.
Lapel, yeah, totally. I did see that the Pie Mary might be a parody of the Family Circle's First Lady Cookie Contest. And in it, First Lady cookie recipes from incumbent and potential presidential spouses have been pitted against one another, tasted and voted on by Family Circle readers, which I believe was like a magazine or kind of like a Reader's Digest situation going on. But there's a lot of reasons / ways that this could have been a parody. So that could be one of them. I did not like go too deep in the rabbit hole, but yeah, apparently that's a thing. First Lady Cookie Contest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when this, I mean, like we haven't gotten to it yet, but like just the whole part when Leslie is being like even introduced later in the episode, like by Martin Housley. It's just so like, I mean, it's like, here's Ben Wyatt's wife. And then it's like,
yes.
What does he say? Ms. Wyatt or whatever.
It's actually Miss Nope.
Yeah. It's just, and it kind of sucks too, because like, I love that character of Martin Housley. He doesn't have like many big roles. He's usually just the town like DJ, but it's like he does, you know, the host of all the ceremonies and stuff. But like this scene, I'm kind of like, oh, come on, man. Like, cause they never really showed him as that, you know? So, but it's not the end of the world, but it is kind of like, oh,
no,
dude,
but I hear what you're saying. Where like everybody is so entrenched in this competition thing.
Yeah.
And this like, you know, it's all about the man being the candidate. Yeah, totally. I hear you. Mm-hmm. Then we have Maddie's favorite line, which is the Steven thing, the poncho. And she's like, okay, hello, with the paint. Like, of course I had to wear this. And Jen Barkley / Catherine Hahn is just so good. I mean, I always say it, but it's just brilliant. I love her.
She is, and she's had a great career moving forward. I'm really happy for her. She's doing the Old Navy commercials and everything. It's like, good for you. But yeah, poncho, right when Maddie started like kind of leading up to that, I knew that's what she was going to say. It's that line. And then I think my other favorite one is just the one where she gets in Leslie's face and it's like, because I don't care enough about you to lie. You know, when she tells her to just go. Yeah. So that, I think those are probably like her two like top iconic ones, but poncho is just it's awesome.
Yes, I love that. And then when she's like, oh, if you say another word, I will literally sue you. Let's not leave it like that. Yes.
So good. So good.
So now April is explaining to Ron that the next job she has lined up from the last episode where they went to DC and found this whole new career for April is she's just explaining to Ron that she has to leave in a couple months, or she has to start in a couple months, and she has to move to DC. And Ron is really happy for her, which is very exciting. But I totally not forgot, but I kind of did like have a little like, oh, right, this is where the actual scavenger hunt comes in, where Ron asks April to give the key back to his house that he let her borrow. And it was kind of shocking to me because, again, I don't really watch Parks and Rec unless I'm reviewing it. And now I'm excited to start back up and like watch it as just a fan and not, you know, analyzing it. But it is interesting because when you hear that, you're like, oh my God, Ron gave April a key to his place, to his house, to his dwelling. That's a big deal.
It absolutely is, and you find out later like why it was, but still, I think for her, probably April at that time was just like, this is insane because, I mean, I think 94 meetings was the first like falling out, I guess, between them. So it's like, I love that we don't know exactly when he gave her this key. Did he say, like, was it right off the bat? I don't remember, but I love it when they do, because there's you know what? I'm not going to jump ahead. I keep doing that. So, but
No, you can. What were you going to say?
I was going to say there's another scene like this between Donna and Jerry when she was just like when he fell and he's like, I was reaching for a burrito. I love that in the show they're talking about another episode we saw 5 years ago. You know, season 2 or whatever that was, the park safety episode. So I love this, and then the whole thing too with April and Andy throughout, where it's like, oh, she had a huge crush on you then, and you're thinking back, and it's like, God, this is before they were even married. So I love how the writing has to work out. That it's like, okay, for it to be this time, these two weren't together yet. You know, April had a crush.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because April was crushing on Andy before, like the opposite, because he was still obsessed with Anne. But yeah, when you watch this episode, it's like, this is awesome how they're, you know, and like, yeah, I love it. And a lot of like final season stuff, like let's wrap up loose ends, but also bring up some old stuff, like you said, whether it be characters or old storylines. Let's just remind people. So maybe I'll take it back, the whole scavenger hunt thing with Ron in the beginning. Maybe that was them just being like, hey, remember this? Like, you want a little more of this? Like, because everyone loved that episode. So.
Well, yeah, and it makes you feel like they're friends at the end of the day, which is what they're so good at doing, because you're like, oh, yeah, remember we've had all these memories together, and we grew up together, like, in our adult life or whatever, and we're being reminded of those nice memories, or, well, falling into a ditch for a burrito and lying about it. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's so, yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so now we're in the space where the new Grizzle campus will be. There's construction going on, all the graffiti and stuff like that, where Ben is giving a speech talking about what it's going to become, how it will transform into a hub of innovation. And then we get a reporter asking a question, and both us as the audience and Ben is like, oh, I guess I'm getting questions now. Okay. And a lot of people online said this too, but the way Ben says the reporter's name, Tad, sounds like he's saying dad. Did you hear that?
You know what? I didn't catch the dad part, but I was going to say that guy's name, that character's name is so funny. You can keep talking. I'll look it up. It's like, sorry.
I wrote it down. No, I'm on the same page.
Okay.
Tadnork Sprumeth.
There we go. Yeah. So, you know what? I think I wasn't paying. I didn't hear the dad part, but Tad is great though.
It's so funny. Yeah, because the way that he says it is so hilarious. I mean, he didn't do it on purpose, obviously, but when I was looking on, like, doing my research and stuff for this episode, I wasn't the only one that heard that. So
okay.
That's so funny.
Well, that would have been,
yes, Tadnork Sprumeth.
That would have been kind of funny because it kind of reminded me of Andy Bernard on The Office, how he does that multiple times. He'll call people dad because his dad hates him so much. And he's like, Dad, sorry. But
yes.
Can I also, there is the other woman. What is her, the woman who asks the question right after that guy, Tadnork or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Her name is insane too. It's like, did you write this one down?
Shoot, I don't think I actually wrote down her actual name, or did I? I know her actor name is Danielle Kennedy, and she's actually been in the.
Oh, I got it.
Burbs.
Yeah,
Yes.
Well, she's in the episode Bus Tour. She's the one that asks Leslie, and she's like, about Nick Newport Sr., and she's like, what about him dying?
I sad.
Yeah, but anyway.
Is that your statement?
Yeah, I sad. Yeah, no, her name is Winter Karumba Yekti Rabbit. That is her name on Parks and Rec. Yeah.
Amazing. Can you imagine that on your resume?
I mean, like, she probably looked at it. It's like, do I have a speaking line? I'll take it. Yeah, good enough.
I'll take it. Yes. Well, did you hear about, I know we are kind of going all over the place, but did you hear Mike Schur's interview with Amy Poehler on her podcast about, like, why he names the characters that way and everything?
I believe, I think I read that. It was just like he wanted them to have authenticity, right? So it wasn't just like actor 4 or like,
yeah,
mailman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the first part. Yeah, is that he really likes working with actors, and he knows how, like, hard it is to get things on your resume. So, like, when he hired or casted people, he would write in the name so that it wasn't, like you said, just like reporter number 1. It was like an actual name, because it makes you feel, or it makes the casting director after this see like, oh, they had a named character.
Yes.
But the second part was why he names them so weirdly is because of licensing. Like, you can't have like a Ron Smith because there are or you could have a Ron Smith because there are so many Ron Smiths that you can't pinpoint which one it actually is.
Yeah.
And so he would just like add in random letters and be like Ron Smith York.
Yeah, exactly.
Add a random. so that he could pass it through, like clearing it through the legal team,
Or
which I thought was so funny.
there's the one character, her name just keeps repeating backwards. It's like Zapasa posta pasta posta pasta.
Oh,
It just keeps going. Like, yeah, I don't even remember
Yeah.
what episode, but yeah, stuff like it's brilliant. On Citizens of Pawnee, I actually had an episode about that too, just like my favorite character names, where I went through scrolled through like all 900 of them on IMDb, and I think my favorite one is Gunch Merkwell. Gunch.
Love.
Yeah. So good.
My favorite is Dan Candle, the mortuary guy.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
it's like not.
He's
I know it's not like crazy enough, but I just like that. It rolls off the tongue.
Dan Candle, who works at Lurpus Mortuary, by the way.
Yes, which is a great throwback.
Yeah. There's a couple in this season actually. Like the shipping yard they use too is like Lurpus, or maybe that was season 6. But there's Lurpuses are great.
Well, that's one of the things. I remember that actually. That was in, I think, the first episode you did, or maybe I can't remember if it was second or whatever. But you explained the Lurpus.
Yeah, I remember.
Legacy.
The family tree, whatever it is, yeah.
Yes, because I knew there were multiple Lurpuses, but I didn't know that there was like all these buildings and like companies that they own.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, they are literally like royalty.
Well,
they're probably really rich.
That's what's so funny about it, though, because Michael Schur has stated, though, that it is like that they are a sprawling, dynastic, completely powerless family. That's why I love that he throws in completely powerless. Like it's so
powerless.
good just
That's
to let you
way.
know that it's like, yeah, if they come at you in like groups, it's like they're still worthless. They don't, they can't. So it's
my God. Which makes so much sense.
Yeah. Because I mean, they really are like none of them have any power or anything in Pawnee. It's just, I mean, you see Morris Lurpus becomes like part of the city council towards the end. He's the one that's like upset swearing Jerry, and he's like, for the 50th time in a row, he's gonna. But it's okay. Sorry to sidetrack.
No, that's so true. Oh my God, because I was thinking about Herman Lurpus and how he always comes in randomly, like he came in through a floor hole.
Yep. And actually, he shows up. I think he's like the last Lurpus we see because he's.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love that. Okay, great. All right, so back to the reporter, Tad Norksprumeth. This actor's name is actually Darren Toonder, which I think that honestly sounds like a Parks and Rec name to me. Darren Toonder.
You could have just kept that.
He's been in Yeah, exactly. He's been in a couple things. Paradise General Hospital, She-Hulk, Minx, so many amazing things. Yeah. And he says that, he, as the reporter, says that Ben's campaign schedule was released, and it looks like Leslie's not participating in Pie Mary. So, like, can you explain that? What's going on? And then this is where we as the audience learn what Pie Mary actually is, because we didn't really talk about that with Jen. And Leslie explains the Pie Mary is an Indiana tradition where congressional candidates' wives have a pie baking contest. And then we get introduced to June Hartwell. This is where this could be a parody on that cookie contest testing thing. And Leslie kind of makes it clear that she's not in support of it, because she's like, last year's winner was June Hartwell and last year's loser was all women.
Yep.
That made me laugh out loud.
It is a good one. It's great.
Oh my God, it's so good. And then this is where you were talking about the other reporter. Her name in real life is Danielle Kennedy. And she's like, we talked about that great reporter that was like, is that your statement? Yeah. ISAD. And she actually, I believe she sent us voice memos when she first was on, which was so sweet. I'll have to post that and find it, because she was really lovely. But I totally forgot / like didn't really recognize her, because she has, I think it's red hair or something on The Burbs with Keke Palmer on Peacock.
Okay.
And she's played such a funny role. Like, definitely check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But I'm glad that they brought her back to kind of fill out the reporters of Pawnee too. That's really nice.
Yeah.
So. All right. So, so this reporter says that this is the first time any candidate's wife did not participate. Like, what kind of statement are you making? And this is where Leslie kind of has to come out and say, I'm not making any kind of statement. Like, we're just focusing on bigger issues like this revitalization project, which is perfect. I think this is such a great pivot back to the task at hand, like the subject that we really want to be talking about. And this is where Leslie's, I guess, campaign running and being in political office has like kind of helped in a way, because she can turn it back to what's really important, but it doesn't really even help,
No, it sucks because like, again, we watched this show, this is a common thing, but in this episode I was like particularly sad for Leslie, because it's like, you just cannot win with these people. you know, and it's like now you like how excited she was to see Elise Yarkton, and then it's like only for her to be like, nope, I'm against you, you know, and it's like,
Correct.
and like when they're watching the news later, she's not even really upset. It's just kind of like, all right, you know, and like, and I forgot what episode it is. It's like when April talks about how it's just like the job is so thankless and Leslie like loves the town so much. And it's like, you don't even get joy when you like complete projects for people because they don't even care. So yeah, I know we see it all the time, but I just think like watching this particular one, it was like, man, you just kind of like, she just gets beaten down so much just by these idiots, you know?
I know. I know. And that's why I think they do such a good job, because I really like watching like wins in government, which is what we get like towards the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Maybe not a win, but more of like a optimistic version.
50-50.
But I also really love that they have such a good balance of telling us the truth and how like shitty it is that, you know, not everybody supports you, not even though you're doing the right thing for them or you just want them to be supported. And yes, that's a great point. The London episode was when April like submits her because she's being so like upset about how everyone's stupid. But yeah, great point. And then this is where we, oh my gosh, we have Mike Patterson coming back, who runs the local news station, who has never been on Leslie's good side.
Never.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah, he's the one that. Oh, wait, no, he didn't throw the punch, or was the woman going to punch Mike Patterson or whatever? And when Leslie got punched, like mother puncher.
Right. Yes. Literally. No, that's what it was. It was on the episode "The Wall."
Yep.
And
at the hospital,
like his whole. Yes, and his whole team ambushes Leslie in the hospital when she's visiting everybody, but Jam is the one that it looks like she's visiting, so they think it's just the Pawnee people. But yeah, and the one who punches Leslie was an actual stunt actor. I remember looking that up because I was like, that punch looks really good.
It did look good. Looked really good.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Mike Patterson. I'm sorry, I was just going to say, he's like, we forget too at this point that Eagleton is part of Pawnee, so it's like you forget that like scumbags like Mike Patterson are from Eagleton. So it's like, you know, you have all the Pawneeans that can't stand Leslie, and it's like you also have this new group of Eagletons, you know, or Eagletonians. So
right.
Yeah.
Ugh, so true. I love this actor though. Just like Jam, like I hate Jam, but I love John Glazer. Like this actor who plays what's his name? Mike Patterson or whatever is named Seth Morris. And he's just been in so many things, great comedy things. I think he's always so funny. This will be his last episode on Parks though, sadly.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not sadly for in the course of the show, but
Yeah, he was I know him from The Good Place most recently. He was Kristen Bell's like scumbag boss. But yeah, he's great in everything. Right. He's good.
So good. I love too his little like, pardon me, excuse me, I need to get through, as if there's like throngs of people blocking him from getting to the front, and there's
he pushes
literally
the two
no one
people
there.
out of the way that are in his way. Yeah, always. And Mike in the face.
That's so funny.
It is.
And then this is kind of where we get to the crux of the show, this episode, really, where he asks that age-old question of all successful women everywhere, or just women in general, like, where are your kids? Who's watching your kids? Let's not get emotional. What about your haircut? Which I think was kind of funny that Leslie is like, thank you for noticing and none of your business.
Yeah. That reminds me of I think it's season or episode 1 of this season when Ron's like, also your hair looks the same or whatever, and she's like, no, I got it cut. He's like, well, I don't know things like that.
Yes, I got bangs.
Yeah. It was just a funny comment from Mike Patterson. Yeah, the haircut. You know, it's like clearly he probably had like one of his teammates like, also she got a haircut. You know.
Exactly. Yes. And online, I mean, I already talked about this a little bit, how this is parodying, this episode in particular is parodying a lot of different things. But there's online, someone had pointed out that this was kind of pointing also at Pamela Anderson's story, where everyone was asking her about her kids and her hair and like all these different things that didn't really matter. But I think it's true. I mean, I just think it's true of all women everywhere in any public sphere, you know, like I don't think you can get a break if you're in the public arena. You know what I mean? Like
I said, I mean, I'm not in the public arena, but I have kids, and I mean, like, women ask me about my kids. Like that's kind of how it is. I mean, like, I've been working with the same people for a long time, so I'm not saying like men don't, but it's a different culture, and I know that because, you know, like I said, my wife, you know, is a teacher and she's around kids all the time, and she does so much of the work with the kids, and yeah, people don't traditionally come up to me and ask about them other than just like, how are they? But like no specifics because, you know, they don't think I know. And it's like, I know my kids, you know,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So it's just, yeah, with women, they got to deal with that, you know, sucks.
Yeah, they deal with it a lot more. Yeah, that's so true. And then I remember, and I didn't find anything online. However, I wouldn't be surprised if the writers were also kind of pointing at the cultural shift when I remember, anyway, I think it was on Hillary Clinton's documentary, but it happened in real life too, where Bill Clinton was running and Hillary was, you know, kind of like Leslie in the way that she's smart, educated, like well-rounded. She knew how to run a campaign / like be a campaign's wife at the same time and all that kind of stuff. And Hillary Clinton made this comment about her opponent's, or Bill Clinton's opponent's wife, saying that she chose to bake cookies and Hillary chose to, get a career or have a career. And it was like this huge backlash moment, learning experience, I guess, where it was like everyone hates Hillary now because, like on Mike Patterson's show, it's kind of exactly that of like talking to June Hartwell, like, oh, so you think all women are stupid and women who love their children are dumb. And that's kind of literally the idea. And it's wild to see, I guess that's what I like about it, because it's wild to see laughing about it, you know what I mean? Even though we're shaking our head like we talked about.
Totally. But I mean, like when this episode came out 11 years ago, and it's just like, yeah, things are bad, but it's just like right now you're just like, fuck. Like, I mean, some of the stuff, like in Parks and Rec is known for being not known for it, but I mean, like they've predicted so many wild things, whether they did it on purpose or not. But I mean, some of them, it like genuinely just makes you upset. There was one, like one of the older episodes that I was watching recently when Leslie's like, I'm like an old white man. I can get away with anything. And I remember telling my wife, I'm like, unfortunately, that has aged too well, you know? And it's just like, yeah, so.
I totally agree. That's a great point too. Oh my God. Yeah. Again, they're just like so good at that. And yeah, this whole idea of, you know, June saying like Leslie chose to have it all, even though, as Leslie says later on, like, what the hell does that even fucking mean? And I also love this joke, oh my God, that Mike Patterson has of like, well, where are your kids? Well, your God only knows where.
She's right here.
What do you mean? I'm literally standing right in front of you.
Yeah, it doesn't mean just like, whoa, don't raise your voice or whatever. Like, yeah,
exactly. Let's not get emotional.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Emotional, yeah. For a woman, of course, let's not get emotional. Yeah.
So this is where back at City Hall, April is looking for Ron's key, and she says she hid it under Andy's desk in the Parks Department, which is a, you know, total Ron move, actually, because Ron hides a lot of stuff in the Parks Department or like throughout City Hall, hidden somewhere. And I love that you see the thread here of like what they have in common, not only the scavenger hunt thing, but like this kind of hidden, you know, personality trait too. It's kind of cool.
You mean April and Ron?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
because Ron hides a lot of stuff in City Hall, and April did too. I just and no one else knows it's there except for them, so I kind of like that.
Can I talk about actually? I don't know if it's this scene yet, but the deleted scene or the producer's cut scene where Jerry is out there and she's they like Andy finds the little container.
Oh yeah, the box or whatever. Yeah,
that to me, because like I just saw the producer's cut for the first time, like whenever I watched it for this research, but I can't believe April actually says, Jerry, you're a nice man, and I'm sorry for all the things I've done to you. And you're like, oh my God. But then, of course, sure enough, before she leaves, she's like, I take it all back. But it was like,
yeah,
that one, I'm kind of happy they left out too, because it was like, no, you gotta keep, like, it's almost like it would have been too early for April to be like, all right, Jerry, we're cool. So I kind of like that they left that out, even though like my jaw dropped when I watched it the first time. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe she actually just complimented him.
Yes, it's always shocking. However, I will say for me, it didn't come out of nowhere, because I always think of Andy's kid show and how she scratches his back. She scratches Jerry's back.
Yeah, like, she does.
And she does that for like a long time. Longer than you would think, because she thinks that he's sick or whatever. And so like she has these little tiny things. I don't think it was necessarily like needed in this particular episode, but to me it wasn't as shocking. It's still always kind of a shock when she does it, but it wasn't as like, oh my God, that would never happen kind of vibe. But yeah, It is crazy. It is still crazy.
I think, you know what, I think it was more just because, like I said, I had never seen this one. And like, because I have Peacock pretty much just for The Office and Parks mostly. And I have like the super fan episodes for The Office. I haven't really watched them. And then these Parks ones too. I'm kind of like you, where it's like, I've done so much research on this show. And it's like, I want to get back to watching it for fun. But it's like, that's what I have The Office for, because like, I don't want to overthink Parks and Rec every night. I don't know how I got in this rant. I'm sorry. Let's just move on. Sorry.
Oh, no, it's because I was following you. Yeah, you were just surprised about April because you hadn't never seen that scene before.
That's right. That's right. I'm sorry.
Because this was the producer's cut. So, yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, so this is where, okay, so there's no key in the box that she hid underneath Andy's desk, just a movie ticket stub and 4 teeth, apparently. And she wrote a note to herself that she moved it, but it was 8 years ago, so she doesn't know where to go from there. And then Andy has his little moment, oh my gosh, and my co-host Sean and I talked about this last week, where Andy like is kind of similar to Kevin in The Office, where he just like kind of keeps getting dumber. He said that you could train Champion to sniff out the key. So give me that key and I'll get you that key.
His delivery, that you just did it perfectly. That's so good. He's like, you give me that key, I'll get you that. Because like even April's like, yeah, all right. Like she's like, yeah, this is a great idea. But that is one of my
moment too of like,
she had it for a second. It's like, yeah, okay. It's kind of like when in season 4 when she deleted all those files on accident. And she was like hiding under remember she called Andy in, and Andy, like for a second, she thought like maybe he could help, and he just like kicks the thing off or whatever he did, or blew in it. But yeah, I love that. It's such a great delivery. You give me that key, I'll find you that key. So
you know what? That's actually a really good point, because both of these instances, the deleted all the files and this, is basically solved by Donna.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I didn't even think of that. Oh my God, love. Okay, so now we're watching the Mike Patterson show, No, You're Wrong. This is when he has June Hartwell on the show, who won the last primary. And this is where we talked about already, like, so you think Leslie is saying that women who love their families are stupid. I thought they did a great job with wardrobe on June, too. Like the kind of little blaze. She has like a little cardigan and pearls and perfect blonde hair. Like
a lot of pink,
saying
right?
She chose to put her family for a lot of pink.
Yeah.
Very trad wife vibes.
Yeah.
So I think that's really well done there. And this is where Leslie says, like, okay, you know what? Jen was right. I'm distracting from the campaign. I'll just enter the primary. I'm good at entering pie or at baking pie. So who cares? I'll just do it. And that is kind of like, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on that because like she's right. Like it's not that big of a deal at the end of the day, like and she does like making pies and she is very good at it, so like let's just leave it. But Ben says like, no, that's dumb, this will blow over. And Leslie just keeps kind of pushing back and saying like, no one's going to talk about your economic plan and what you're good at and like how like you're going to be perfect for Congress. So yeah, it's hard to decide, but I'm kind of with Leslie in some regard.
This one is tough for her, because I think this is definitely one of those like, babe, I don't care about this one. We'll take this loss just like for you. Like she is definitely like, yeah, she doesn't want to do it because it's like, no, we're not wrong here and we don't want to apologize. But I like that Ben and her have gotten maybe to the point with these people too, where it's just like, we know what the outcome's going to be and we know we can work around this. It's fine. Mm-hmm. So I do like that too, that Leslie's just like, it's all right. It's all right. But, obviously Ben is a great husband. That's why he's like, nope, we're not doing it, when it comes down to it. So, but yeah, no, this is great. It's a little bit different for Leslie because she is always fighting. And for her to just kind of be like, whatever, let's take a day off. It's a little uncharacteristic, but I mean, I don't mind it.
Yeah, well, and I think to your point that they're such good partners to each other, and they just want to make the other shine and feel comfortable and happy and whatever. So I think that that's a really good point too, that Ben is like, Leslie is like, I'll just do this for you. If it was me, maybe I wouldn't do it. Yeah. But Ben wants her to be happy, so she's like, no, or he says, no, you don't have to do it because I would do this for you, kind of vice versa. But yeah, also I love this. I don't know if this is a producer's cut or what. I think it probably isn't. I don't know. The feminine mesquite
Yeah,
little moment where that's her cookbook. Oh my God, I love that.
that is good. I think that was a deleted scene, actually, or at least just that little line. Because,
Yeah.
that was new to me. That's good.
Yeah. This is where the scene you were talking about, April's having Andy look for a box behind the vending machine, and he knows the difference between an eagle and a falcon, which I think is so weird and random.
That was funny. That was another, because sometimes my problems with Andy where you can be like, that's too dumb. Like, so sometimes his jokes are not funny, but then it'll be one of these ones where it's just like, this is an eagle, not a falcon. He goes to put it back. That's a typical one for me where I would roll my eyes and be like, oh God. But again, the delivery on that one was so good.
Yeah, it's so good. Didn't go to bird school much. Like,
Yeah,
what? When did you?
Bird school.
And in this box is Larry's wedding ring and Kyle's car keys. But her key that she's looking for Ron is not in there. And yeah, again, this is the I did have it written in my notes. I was like, wow, April apologizes because she thinks she's going to run away and never see Jerry or Gary again or whatever. But then, oh my God, I'd love this too. Like Andy has a whole plan to run away, burning off their fingertips, which by the way, I feel like that has been said before. I feel like he suggested that at some point or somebody suggested that on the show, but I can't remember where.
Burning off fingertips, I don't remember. Unless there was
my God.
line of, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't recall that.
Yeah. I don't either. It could have been honestly during the file thing, the losing the files, and Donna comes back and Andy suggests running away again.
There's also Ron talks about how his family's moonshine burns off warts or something like that.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think of burnt off fingerprints, but anyway.
Well, I'll watch that episode again and let you know.
Cool.
But anyway, Andy says to April, it's fine. Ron will understand. Just tell him the truth. Be honest and tell him that you can't find it. And then this is when Gary drops his ring again, but he has another one on, so it's okay. And yeah, I mean, again, I'm skipping ahead, but the fact that he puts everything in his wallet down the grate, and I'm like, oh my God, he needs those silicone rings, those cheap silicone wedding rings.
That's exactly what I have because I lost 3 of them. Yep. They're like $15 on Amazon. It's wonderful. It's rubber.
That's what he needs.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, this that deleted scene too, that leads us into the part because in the regular episode we just see him out there fishing for it, because that
Totally.
deleted scene with April, we didn't need it. It was fine. We believe that he dropped it, but that was kind of oh, that's where it starts. So that was kind of cool.
Yes. Yeah. And then April, again, this is where she's telling Ron that she had it in a safe place, but she can't find it. And she left a string of clues, but she still can't understand her clues. So now this is where Ron can redeem himself and get the scavenger hunt that he's wanted all along and can get this unsalvageable scavenger hunt going. And then this is where we learn that the movie ticket that was in the original box is where it was a Twilight thing. And Ron says, Donna likes those things, so it probably points to her, and now he's super excited. You do think he's going to get mad, though, when she says original. I mean, I thought he was going to get mad a little when he said she originally couldn't find it. His Nick Offerman's facial expression really quickly was like, oh my God, what is he going to do? But then he gets really happy, and it's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, her line, you only get to see the second Twilight film for the 7th time once.
Yes.
It's great. That's one of my favorite things about Donna, because I'm a big fan of horror films and stuff, is that she loves zombies and werewolves and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, this is actually, so I think this is the scene, right, where they first meet, and Donna's in the room with all the computers and everything. This is kind of this is kind of, and not to keep doing this, but it reminds me, not Parks and Rec was with data centers and stuff now. It just gave you that feel. And I know that because, I work for a school. I've seen these servers. They're modems mostly. It's nothing. But you started getting that vibe of them showing technology moving forward to where all of a sudden now Donna, it just has a bunch of computers and shit behind her that were never there in the show. So that was another kind of one watching it. It's just man, this is getting scary.
Totally.
Moving forward, because that's how everything looks now.
Right. And I know they probably didn't do this on purpose, but it is interesting that they didn't have those servers though in the Leslie and Ron episode when they're stuck in there. So
that's a good
those
point.
servers must have been added in and everything. But totally, I mean, I thought about that with Grizzle, like the drones delivering Amazon packages and stuff, like that's a real thing. It's insane. So yeah, so crazy. But I think that's where kind of the show like ages too well, where like they have this little, you know, technology just keeps getting kind of worse and worse for humankind.
Yes, yeah.
But it can also be a helpful tool. It's just like this weird mind fuck. But yeah,
like the Coco delivery things, you know, the ones on.
Oh yeah,
I actually,
I'm not in an area that can do that. Do you have an area? Or
well, I'm like 20 miles away from Chicago, so yeah, I saw one. I went to a concert a couple months ago, and it's like, I mean, just sitting in traffic, it's like, what the fuck is that? And it's just like, just try, you know, not a person in sight. It's insane. I mean, like, yeah, it's scary. So
I keep seeing all these things online, and it's like terrifying, like TikTok and Instagram videos of those like humanoid robot things like competing in, you know, sports or dances, and I'm just like, no, I don't want that. I don't need that.
We need to just obliterate this before it gets out of control. Yeah, I agree.
Literally, like, stop it. Anyway, okay. So, let's see. Now we're at the house. We're talking about the kids, and I think this is the part where it's like one of them got out the door. It did make me laugh though that they don't know which kid. I know you said
that does make it even more that it's like, yeah, it's probably the same routine every night. And plus the boys are twins, so I could see her maybe just being like, okay, it was one of them. But it just the I don't know. Yeah. You
know what I think helps too for me is the fact that what's her name, Roz, Rachel Dratch, the nanny, came in a couple episodes ago and was like complete chaos, and like literally didn't know where the kids were. Yeah. And I mean, and by help, I just mean like tell the story, not necessarily that it's realistic, although it probably is, especially if you have triplets. But yeah, it was just like, it made me laugh a lot when the doorbell rings and she's like, that might be one of the kids.
That is good. Yeah.
So this is where we see Elise come in. She's actually the one who knocks at the door. And prior to that, Ben had gotten Leslie everything for the pie, so that she could make her pie for the Pie Mary, and also 2 whipped cream cans, one for eating and one for using for the pie. So Elise comes back from the Indiana Organization of Women. We saw her in season 2, the episode Woman of the Year. And this is played by Mary Beth Monroe, the actress. And I'm so happy that they brought her back. She's so good at this, and I'm really happy. Like, I actually did get in contact with some of her reps, but I don't know if she'll be able to send us voice memos. But I do hope that I get to hear, because
that'd be awesome.
I always find it fascinating. Yeah, it would be awesome. I always find it fascinating to hear, especially people that come back on the show from so long ago. I mean, from season 2 to 7, and like most of the time they had no idea that they were coming back. So I really find that interesting, again, of building the world of Pawnee. But this will be her last episode on Parks. So well done, Mary Beth Monroe. Great job.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's also great on The Good Place as Mindy St. Clair, the only person who's in the medium place.
Oh my God. Amazing. So Leslie is like, are you here to give me the Woman of the Year award? Like, oh my God, I have a speech prepared. I have everything ready. And Elise says that she loves that Leslie wasn't going to do the Pie Mary, but then they heard she was entering. And Leslie explains herself like, you know, this isn't about me. It's about the campaign. And also Ben will be so much better for women's rights than June Hartwell's person. And it'll all work out. Like, it's the way to go. And Elise says she has no choice but to boycott Leslie if Leslie does this, or boycott Leslie and Ben, really. But she also says, like, when Leslie says it's the way to go, Elise says it'll set women back for decades. I mean, I was like, okay, that's dramatic.
Yeah,
I don't think that's true, but especially the way Leslie is explaining it, it makes so much more sense. But I understand Elise has to be completely opposite. But I was like, set women back decades? Come on.
Yeah. She's a little, like, you notice too when how excited Leslie is, and you have to think that, like, what's her name, Elise Yarton, remembers. I mean, it's been 5 years, so maybe she doesn't remember her. But either way, the way that she looks at Leslie when Leslie's like, oh my God, I have a speech prepared, she gives her a look almost like, chill the fuck out. But it's kind of like like you would think she would be excited that someone is that excited about her organization, but she's more so just like, no, just shut up. Let me talk. So I don't know. I don't get good vibes from this woman. Like, I just think like she's like maybe the face of the organization, but doesn't really care that much. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, because like I say, just she's never nice to Leslie. And you would think if this woman
I
actually
know.
is like about women's rights, and it's like Leslie's like the poster woman for Indiana at least, and it's like this one's more just like, now get the hell out of the way, you know. So I don't know,
Well, and
but
I
I
mean,
do think she's
no,
a
I
great
think
character.
I do too. I do too. And I mean, I don't know I don't know like what her role is in the IOW. I do think that she's probably up in the leadership somewhere, but I think this is what we were talking about before, where Parks does such a great job of having all of these niche conversations about what each woman will stand for or is against, you know, women against feminism or women that are like so far against equal rights or whatever. Like, I just think that they did a really good job of making this nuanced and making, I mean, I'm not saying that what Elise is saying is correct, but there are so many women who are against women in whatever capacity that is.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this, and I feel like also some of these people who are in these organizations, and I get it to a certain extent, I get what Elise is saying, because sometimes if you bend like a little bit, you'll break, you know what I mean? And so I totally understand. And it's almost as if they have to say, like, they cannot like let off the gas for just a tiny bit, because if she does this pie thing, then it's like signaling something, maybe not the step back for decades, but like the signaling something. And it is kind of interesting that like, to your point, I think you had said this earlier in the episode, where, you know, it is interesting that Leslie is like, okay, it's fine, I'll just do it, like, this isn't about me, whatever. Because you would think that Leslie would be not for that, but she sees, that's where I see the growth in Leslie too, because I think Leslie again is being more considerate of what Ben is going through and like what Ben needs to have for his campaign to win. So yeah, it is interesting. I think that this is very layered, and they did a really good job of making you think.
But then you get the great Ben Wyatt ender when he comes into the room. Babe, the oven's running. Chop, chop. You know, it's so perfect.
Daddy wants pie.
Yeah, and it's like, not to go there, but it's like the sexual connotation to it also. You know, it's like, Daddy wants pie. You know, but that's just Elise's face. You know, it's like, after, my husband is a proud champion of women's rights, and we all know he is, and that's what's so funny, because it's like, we know there's no like malicious intent here or anything, or that's just literally him wanting to eat pie, you know?
I was like, oh my God, so bad. So bad. Not the right time. Also, like, it's so funny to me that he just, like, sees a stranger, because I don't think he knows her yet. Like, he wasn't there in season 2.
Yeah.
He continues with his weird saying. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oof. I also love Elise's, like, hope you like pie in your face.
In your
Metaphorically,
face.
of course, we'll be civil.
Yeah, we'll be civil. That is a good one.
Yes. Amazing. But especially if you didn't know Ben and didn't see like how he's been before, and I would be like, what's happening here? I mean, I might laugh a little bit, but yeah, that's not the vibe.
Yeah. Bad timing.
All right. So now we're at City Hall following the key scavenger hunt, and Ron asks Donna if she saw Twilight from the ticket stub. This is where we talk about how April is really high from getting her wisdom teeth out. That's where we learned that the teeth in the box were hers. And then the servers are happening. I also I had a note that I really love Donna's hair. They do a really good job with Donna's hair throughout the season. I feel like having her be really stylish and just really pretty. So thought that was worth mentioning.
It's weird throughout this season, because like, you forget that Donna doesn't work for the Parks Department anymore. So it's like, when she's there, it's kind of like, why is she there? But it's like, whatever. It's like, you know, the first couple seasons, why Ann Perkins is always there, and then they were finally like, let's just make her work there so we don't have to. But either way, you have to keep remembering that it's like, yeah, Donna actually is just here as like a guest right now, so she's technically not like ditching work or anything. She's just hanging out. It's weird.
That's so true. Great point. And on, piggybacking off of that, this is the second episode that Aziz, aka Tom, does not appear in an episode.
He is actually not in the next one either, the Johnny Karate one.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 in a row.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about. Yeah, so yeah, and I don't know. I didn't look at IMDb and see like what he was doing at this time. I don't know if Masters of None was starting or what.
That's what my thought was. I looked at, I checked, and everyone else, it was the same thing. Why isn't he in these episodes? That's really the only thing I could find was other people. But if you look on like IMDb, or if you even Google it, it'll tell you. It's like, no, he's in every episode, because he's credited in every one, like with the opening credits. So it's like, no, but he's definitely not me. Because in the, what at Two Funerals, that's when he comes back and all that says is he's like, me and Lucy were in New York. So that's all you hear. And it's like, all right, fine. That's good enough. I'll accept it.
Yeah, that's
because it
fair.
had something
That's
to do
fine.
with like his restaurant, so it's like fine.
Yeah,
So, just to
absolutely. I
answer
think
that,
that's a
yeah.
really good point. Yeah, no, that's a good point that like with Tom, you see the bistro so much that you're like, okay, that's what he's doing with his life. But with Donna, like you don't really see her real estate business or her Seattle condo. So you're like, wait, why? What? But I love that they, keep bringing her back and finding random ass ways to drag her back in. So, love that. Yeah.
Yep, totally.
All right. So this is where Ron asks if Donna remembers anything about a key or doing anything unusual. And Donna says that April made them stop by the shoe shine stand to drop something off for Andy. And this is when we get to she had a real bad crush on him. We're married.
You had a crush on me. Yeah. So immature. And then Ron will make fun of her for it later too. And it's just like, these guys are so immature. It's just like,
I know. It's so
great.
funny. So then, Ron is like, okay, let's go to the shoe shine stand. But before we go there, we see Donna seeing Gary trying to find his wedding ring. And he also dropped his keys and all these other things. And this is where a part of me is like, Gary, you can't be that dumb either. However, I don't know, maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but I also kind of think that Gary is like dumb in Park's world, except for when it comes to like data entry and folder organizing.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really smart and like, whip smart and reflexive and all that kind of stuff in his home life.
See, I have thought that many, many times. There's only one situation though that I can think of, and it's the one where they go to Sherm's and he drops the ice cream cone and the guy's like, I always have an extra one just in. So you're like, that would be one where it's like, okay, he's clumsy at this place, but we saw like when he's hosting the party, I mean, he's, and then even when Leslie came over and she like almost drops the mug and he catches it. So yeah, that's kind of the only part where I'm like, damn it, they could have had Jerry as like he's flawless outside of work, but that's the only one I can think of where he kind of screws up.
Maybe it's literally like a home vortex,
or
or
when he's
be in his inside of his home, near his family.
Yeah, or it could just be like the aura of the Parks crew whenever he's around them. It could be something like that. Maybe his self-esteem has got to be terrible. Because you hear later, I'll wait till we get to it more about the Gale stuff, and it's like, oh my God, is he abused at home? It's like, this is... Jeez.
Oh, that guy's an enigma. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's such a funny thought, though. And then, one thing that I love about this, because it's such a small detail, when Jerry has that red thing in his... and he drops it. He's like, oh no, my jitterbug. I remembered jitterbugs, but it was like, wait. So I just Googled jitterbug device, and it's like, they still make them. It's essentially just a phone for seniors. The buttons are huge. It's so easy to read, but I just like if you're not paying attention, you won't hear him say, oh, my jitterbug. It's just so funny that it's like, that was a great detail to give him.
Oh my gosh, I remember seeing Jitterbug commercials all the time, like in high school, I think, maybe middle school.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a flip phone that literally only has like 3 buttons, and they're all like speed dial buttons too, where you just like press 1 and it calls somebody.
It's like mom, dad, son, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know, I feel like this was deleted too, where Donna says, oh, let me see your passport stamps.
Yeah, when she slaps
he's about
him
to
with
drop
it.
that.
Yep.
And she's like, no. You can't put that. You're not going to lose that. So I feel like that was that was deleted too. But
it was.
Yeah. So this is where Leslie is talking to Ben, saying like the IOW doesn't mess around, which is normally why she loves them. But now we're on the other like receiving end of it. And Ben says like, okay, fine, just don't do the pie contest. But then we're back where we started, and Ben has the idea to do the pie contest himself, which I think is a great flip on its head, a great idea. Leslie loves the idea too. This for some reason made me laugh out loud when Ben says like, we changed the idea of what a pie is, and then she has 2 lines where she's like, I feel like that's not more important, but keep going. And then when she's like explaining crust, filling, crust on top, what am I describing? And she's like, a pie.
A pie. Yep.
I don't know why
I wrote that. I love it so much. Because it's weird because it's like you almost see that she knows where he's coming, but then when he does reveal calzone at the end, she's like, Oh, okay. So it's like maybe she didn't, but it's like, but either way, yes, that's one of my favorite ones, a pie, because it is just like,
Pie.
let's just leave it where it is, hon. It's like, because yeah, I don't know, because
Yes,
she knows
so
he's
funny.
going off on something else, and it's like, can we just keep this simple, please? But yeah,
Yes.
a pie.
A pie. But yes, and then she doesn't guess correctly because it's not really a pie, but he says you're in the right zone. And then you kind of see her sink a little bit because she doesn't like calzones as much as he does. Where she's like, oh, calzone. Okay, calzone. Okay. And he's going to make a calzone instead of a pie. So that's what he meant by re-describing or reinventing what a pie is. And he's in the calzone zone. Oh my God. It's just so funny.
It just reminds you of obviously that episode with Chris, where he wanted to make the low-cal calzone zone.
Yes.
And it's funny
depression.
too, because I think this is actually the first time we see Ben back on calzones after the food poisoning. Remember when he swore calzones off? Because the only other time there is when he started working for the accounting firm for like a second. Remember, they had the calzone party for him. But I think that was before he got sick and swore them off. So he went like almost two seasons with no calzones.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
And he's making his own now. So he doesn't have to worry about getting
sick,
maybe. Okay.
That's what I love too, is that when he says to Leslie, he's like, I'm good at them. Because remember when he first started, he sucked at it. He was like pressing the fork down. So I like that. It's like 3-4 years later, now I'm good at it. And Leslie doesn't usually she'd like look at the camera maybe and give us like a no, he's not. But it's like, she's like, yeah, do it. So I love that.
Me too. Yeah, me too. It's just building on their relationship and being supportive of each other, which is really nice to see. I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what you were talking about, where we're back with Gary and Donna, and Gary says that Gale turns into a real grumpy goose when he loses his ring, and the things he's saying are kind of like sweet, but they're offensive and hurtful. Like, "Hey, Mr. Forgetful," not sweet, but like not as terrible as you think it is.
Well, that's the thing, though. He's telling us this story where we're laughing about it, and even Donna's like, "Yeah, wow, we are such different people." But he is clearly afraid to go home. I mean, it's like, I know it sounds ridiculous because it's like, yeah, she might call me a bozo, but it's like, these are clearly hurtful words for Jerry, And it's like, and then it makes me think, the way that he's treated by the Parks Department, is this that much worse than being called a bozo, So it's like I wrote down, it's like, God, is he abused at, like mentally abused? It's just, I know it's played for laughs and I'm just joking around, but it is so funny how they just like, you're like, damn, Gail might be like mean.
So funny. Oh my God. And that's her version of mean. Also, like, I mean, look, Gary, can you stop losing your fucking wedding ring then? Like, I'm not saying he deserves it. Okay, because clearly he thinks this is really bad. But like, you need to get it together.
Yeah. No, I mean, like when he just the one ring just goes to drop it in his pocket and it's just not even close, It's played so well. So yeah, I guess she probably would be like, are you fucking kidding me? Another one? Yeah.
Jim O'Heir is so good. Oh my God. It's so freaking hilarious. Ugh. Love it.
I think, in all honesty, if I could pick one person on the cast to meet, I would take him. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, Ben's my favorite character, and obviously, Jim's not like the biggest star on the show. I mean, he's done very well for himself, but I mean, he's a Chicago guy. I mean, I'm not Chicago, I'm Illinois, but I mean, he's local. So is Nick Offerman, but yeah, I don't know. And I think from listening to the Parks podcast with him, which they stopped doing for whatever reason, but it was still like, I just loved him as a person. He just seemed like such a good dude. So yeah, I think Jim O'Heir would be my pick for a question you didn't ask, but yeah. Sorry.
No, I love that. I know. I've talked about, if I ever got to meet Amy Poehler or interview her, I think I would like lose my mind. So I'll let you know if I ever get Jim O'Heir and you can come on and meet him.
I'll be back. Absolutely. It's funny. I'm sorry, real quick.
No,
there was about, I don't know, 30 minutes away from me, a town. We have a minor league baseball team. And Jim O'Heir was there like 2 years ago. And it was funny because it was literally billed as Parks and Rec Day, but it was for like that city. And he was there, and it sucks. It's like I found out about it like 2 days after the fact. And it's like I would have bought a ticket just to try to get his autograph or a picture with him, But it was
Yes.
clearly they were playing up the Parks and Rec thing, but it was like, damn it. It's like, I got to
my
be
God,
on social media more often.
I know, totally. Or like are you on the email list or whatever for that minor league team? Maybe they sent out an email blast or something.
No, it's one of
You
those
should
things
be.
where it was just like, yeah, that would have been cool to go to, but it's just like, I don't care about the team at all. But either way, yeah, that's good stuff.
You know what's so funny that you say that? We have a minor league team here, and Jim O'Hare just recently, this year, was there, and I don't know what he was promoting. Does he have a book? He might have a book out about Parks and Rec, I think, actually.
I think he does. He's talked about, or at least maybe it hadn't been produced yet, but yeah, he talked about it a lot on Parks and Recollection, like seeing, but there should be by this
and I don't
point.
think. Right. Yeah. And I don't think there was any sort of like Parks and Rec Day, or at least not that I'm aware of. I know they do have like a lot of theme nights, but from what I was seeing, I don't think that was the case. But you could get like VIP tickets and get him to like sign it and all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember. I feel like I was out of town or something. Otherwise, yeah, same here. I definitely would have done it. And I would have like been a little shameless and been like, oh my God, we have a podcast. If you ever like want to talk about it.
Or could you just.
But I don't know.
I don't know
what he's doing in the minor leagues. Like, I'm not really sure what that's about, but anyway.
Yeah, this was either way. No, but yeah, minor league Jim O'Hare, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But that's fun that he does that and like goes on, little tours and stuff. Because like you said, he's done well for himself. He's in a lot of cool shows and stuff lately, or after Park. So, yeah. Okay. Well, Jim O'Hare, if you're listening, come on down. But this is where Donna orders dinner because they're going to be there for a while since he lost his replacement ring as well. And I'm skipping a tiny bit ahead, but I didn't actually realize when you see them eating dinner, it's from Tom's Bistro.
Never?
Yeah,
wow. I try to pride myself on finding this kind of stuff. Good call.
It's so funny.
Oh.
All right. So then we learned that the shoe shine stand is gone, which is super sad. But during the remodel, they moved it, and it's probably in basement storage. So they all go to the basement. And then this is where we see the animal control nerds.
God.
Great bringing them back. Oh, my God. And I just have to say, so Brett is played by Colton Dunn, of course, who has been in a lot of things, Superstore in particular that I remember him from.
Yep.
But Harris, of course, is Harris Whittles. And I always mention anytime that he comes up, we always pay tribute to him because he was such a backbone, and rest in peace. Amazing that he did so much and was an iconic writer, comedian for the show.
Yep.
But apparently online anyway, it says that it was 9 days after this episode aired that he was found actually.
Wow.
And that, it tracks from when I looked it up because this was in 2015 that it aired and he passed away in 2015, which is so wild. But I'm always just so grateful to him. Like great, talented, so smart, so funny. I just love it.
Yeah, I agree.
This little team, are you kidding? It's so good.
These two are so good, and I like back when you're with Brett. What is his name? Colton
Dunn.
Colton Dunn. Yes. If you watched Superstore before this, you'd be shocked to see him standing because he was in a wheelchair in that show. So that's kind of funny. But this scene is just, to me, it's kind of terrifying. Just because, what these two are doing. Because there's a scene in the movie Casino where you actually kind of see this happen, and it's like, it will happen if you tighten it enough. So it's,
oh my God.
and I guess I shouldn't say just because I saw it in Casino, but at least there's a realistic version of that in this. And just the fact that that's what these two are doing, and he's like standing upright, cranking this thing, it's like, it's so bizarre. But these two are great, and it's like, let's get them one last time or whatever,
Yeah. And the idea that Andy says, I've been there, my friend, that's a risky game.
Yeah. So good.
And then we ask where the shoe shine stand is, and we learn that an alleged ghost with dark hair and skin you can see through came down looking for it as well, but wouldn't talk to Brett. And I love this. This had to have been cut. The little friendship song.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Dreaming together.
Was that not
sleeping together?
That's totally a Tom Haverford song, you could tell they probably wrote that with Aziz or Ben Schwartz or something, because that's still, Tom has a million of those throughout this series.
Absolutely. And I want to say, I can't remember who did all of Tom's songs. I feel like Alan Yang and someone else was really instrumental in a lot of Tom's stuff. But you could see, maybe Harris probably even, because you could kind of see if you're watching closely, Brett is not singing like he doesn't know the words. It's
Okay.
like he's like trying to match Harris's.
Yeah.
Like Harris is coming up with this off the spot. We're sleeping together, but not like that.
That's a good point. I did notice that, and I wonder if that's why they cut it from the episode, because it does look like he didn't. That like
He didn't know what was
now
going
that
on.
you
I mean,
know,
that would've
you're
been even
right.
funnier.
It was still funny, but it did look like in the episode like their singing was off, and it was like one of them knew the song and one didn't. So I caught that too. Good
Yeah,
call.
which honestly would have been fine for them to have aired
Yeah.
that because they're stoners anyway.
Yeah.
But April is basically like, okay, so a racist ghost because this ghost thinks that Brett's gonna mug it, and Ron thinks he knows the answer to who it is. I just think that's so funny.
Just that the
their
racist
whole little
part.
bit.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, that their whole little bit of like who they are to each other, that they might be living in the basement,
Yeah.
like, you know.
Well, they had one of the best written scenes, I would say, the one where they apply for the same job. You know, remember that?
Yes.
But the thing that is so brilliant about it is that, like, they had to have left the same house, probably drove together in the same car, you know, because it's like
Yeah.
these two are roommates. And it's like the fact that neither of them told the other one they had a job interview that day. And it's just so funny because, yeah, and then they look over and it's like, oh, shit, you're here too. It's so dumb, but they're great characters for how often they're shown, which is not that often.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, that's this job?
Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah.
So then we get a sweet little moment for our friendship / fondness and Donna and Gary, because we're going through all his debacles like we talked about before, like in the going into like falling and breaking his arm for a burrito and all that kind of stuff. But they need to leave since it's getting late, and she's going to give him a ride, which is really sweet. And this is where the bozo thing comes in. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. It does sound scary to go.
You know, I didn't think of this until right now. Why does Jerry need a ride home? Like from the job
Yeah,
he
great
works at, but
question.
she doesn't. I just thought of that right now. Why is she driving? You know, like maybe Gail drops him off at it, but like you would have thought he would have already talked to Gail if that was the point. That it would have been like, hey, I don't need a ride home, or you know, or maybe he walks. I don't know. That had nothing to do with anything, but I just thought of that. It's like, why does he need a ride home? Anyway,
That's so real. Yeah, good question. All right, so now at the festival, we see the pecan pie recipe, however you pronounce that, from June Hartwell. And we also see Martin Housley. Is it Housley or Houseman?
Housley.
Okay. And he's played by Jim Meskimen, who we actually interviewed a while ago, like back when he was first on there. He was great, and I'll post that in the show notes if anyone cares about that. But and then we've got June Hartwell, who is played by the actress Barbara Niven, and she has been in so many Hallmark movies. I knew she looked familiar, but I looked up her IMDb and I was like, oh my God, because it all says TV movie, and I was like, what TV movie? Because my mom watches Hallmark you know, religiously, and I'm either watching it with her or hear it on the background or kind of walking through the hallways and I'll see it. And so I was like, oh my gosh, she looks so familiar, and that's why. And also, oh my God, this is so weird and funny that she has that line that Mima didn't have a PhD, but she knew about PIE. And I was like, ew!
It's so funny, but yeah, I actually had to write that out because it's just like, really? Yeah. This is another woman that we've never met before, but she's just so already brash about just shitting on Leslie Knope. You know, and it's like, Leslie Knope is like, it's one of the ones I was watching the other day, you know, when it was like, there's also a clue about me in the crossword puzzle, and it's like, who's the worst? Leslie Knope. Remember that one? So yeah, that's what I think. It's like just people immediately meet her and are just turned off. It's just like, this woman sucks, you know?
I know.
So good.
Oh my God. Yeah, June Hartwell, the gal who plays this is so good. What did I just say her name was? Diana? Oh no, Barbara. Barbara's, she does a great job playing this character. Oh my God. Well, anyhow, so Ben looks like he's up next, and they heard from Elise that the IOW is not going to protest them, which is great. Love his little apron in the zone. So perfect. So, and he made a dessert calzone. And here's my question. Okay, if it's a dessert calzone, do you think is it a sweet one? So he didn't make a savory calzone?
That's a good question, actually, because it's almost like, so a dessert calzone almost seems like a pie. You know,
which I guess that's what he meant?
Yeah.
Question mark. Because towards the end, when Elise comes in at the end to Ben's office, they're eating a pie, but I can't tell which pie it is. And there's whipped cream. And so I was like, are they eating his calzone with whipped cream? But maybe it's a dessert calzone. So whatever.
Good point.
Anyway. And then when he says, like, we're going to a little town called Napoli, and
you know what, though? You're almost relieved that he gets cut off so you didn't have to hear this whole embarrassing, the Napoli, because, he was like, all right, this is going to sound great when I do it. And then sure enough, the mailmen show up. Oh,
Adam
my
Scott
God.
is hilarious.
Yeah.
But this is that part where, he says, or Martin Housley says, Mrs. Ben Wyatt or Ben Wyatt's wife or whatever the hell. And it's really attractive and really nice that Ben is like, that's actually Ms. Nope.
Yep.
And Leslie has her own life, but I'm a great pie maker, so I made it myself. And then, oh my God, yes, this is where the mailmen come in. Ugh, gross. And we get a crowd saying, free Ben Wyatt. And the leader dude, oh my God, I laughed out loud. It's just so stupid when he says, and it's not even anything. He just says men's activist group. And I laughed out loud because I was like, this is absurd and nothing.
I love, Leslie says that exactly later on. She's like, men's rights are nothing or whatever. But when he says, he's like, men have had a tough go at it recently, kind of says that quiet, like under his breath. And then one of, I think, the funniest maybe written Parks Rec lines ever is him talking about, so because of what he was wearing, he was asking for it, because Leslie talks about how he has his own aprons. I think that it's such a funny line because it's so ridiculous. It's like, so he was asking for it.
Oh my God.
I love that one.
Yes, that's actually... Okay, they do a really good job of making fun of that or that whole little shtick, or like stereotype, because remember when Leslie's mom hits on Ben and Leslie's like, what were you wearing? Are you sure?
That's true. She's like, were you asking for it? And that,
oh my God.
It's funny too. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with this comedian, Chris Gethard, who plays,
yes, I love him.
Okay. I don't know if this is like a play on his name, because it's like Kip Bunthart. Chris Gethard. So I wonder if they were just kind of doing something like that. But I loved him. He also played, was it Trevor on The Office, Dwight's friend, the one that was going to kneecap Oscar? Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
But no, he's
I know him, I think, originally from his stand-up. Like, I followed him on social media and stuff. And then I did improv in LA, and oh my gosh, what's it? Oh, Mike Birbiglia wrote and starred in Don't Think Twice, which is a fantastic movie. If anyone hasn't seen it, you really should. And Chris Gethard is in it. Keegan-Michael Key. Keegan-Michael Key. And then the gal from Community that I can never remember her name, she was in it too. And they were all so fantastic. And I do remember Chris Gethard being in it.
Nice.
But yeah, and I think he's been in a couple of other shows since then and movies and things. But he still does his stand-up, and he also has a podcast. I wrote it down. Beautiful Stories from Anonymous People. So yeah, I'll have to check that out too. But yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, no, this was it was nice to see him. This is it. I just love like when an actor can be like, yeah, I'll play that guy. Sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure they must have known him, because they're at this point, I feel like, or maybe not, I don't know. But I feel like at this point, a lot of the actors that are in the final season were either like fans of the show and asked to be on it, or they were like, the writers were fans of this person, and then it kind of worked out that way, which honestly, that might be the case, because I feel like Mike Schur knows so many people and was just like, you want to be on the show? And he did such a good job. Oh my God, he's so freaking hilarious as Kip.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Do you remember?
I love that.
Sorry, little trivia for you. Can you remember the other Kip that is mentioned in Parks and Rec?
Kip.
All right, so not to be confused with Chip McCap or his dad, Skip McCap. There's one other time where, and I'll give you a hint.
Wait, tell me.
Andy's the one that said it. It's when Tammy 1 comes in and everyone's terrified, and she's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Or what's your name?" And he's just like, "Oh wait, no, that's Tim Buchanowski. Kip Hackman is what's his name? Burt Macklin's brother after the snake hole one. Remember when he says Burt Macklin's dead? He's like, I'm his twin brother, Kip Hackman. And Kyle's just like, why don't you have the same last name? Yeah. Damn it, I screwed that one up with the but either way, that's the other Kip. Damn it.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I wouldn't have remembered that, so thank you for that.
You're welcome. But yeah, we can never forget Chip and
Kip.
Skip
Hackman.
McCap. Yeah.
Oh my God, Chip and Skip. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Wow.
he's yelling
Go
at his
Parks.
dad. He's like, yeah, go get it, Skip.
Yes.
So good.
Bo Burnham does such a good job.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, so Ben is like, free me from what? Like, the way they turn this is so hilarious because they're like, free Ben Wyatt. And this is again where she says that Ben has 5 personalized aprons, so he loves to cook. Like, I'm not forcing him to do anything. And this whole like chant that they have of male and proud, I was like, ew, you're so gross.
Yeah.
I hate this.
This, like, I hate to like get with political like terminology and stuff, but I mean, like, incels essentially, and like, like to Charlie Kirk types, so it's like, yeah, this is like kind of like it's funny, but like right now you're like, it's too close to home, and it's like, not saying that I'm like, I couldn't enjoy this episode, but it does suck that you can't enjoy it without thinking about that, you know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And this is kind of what we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, where I just feel like I really like that they're getting back to the political climate and the cultural points of our society, because they're so good at satire. And we had so many instances in the first couple seasons where it was like this. So it's nice that this is like based on not a true story technically,
Per
unless
se,
you
yeah.
count like the Hillary Clinton thing, but like just how our culture and how our society operates, not only politically, but also just women in general,
Yep.
and it's really, I think this is why when people say that, or when we are saying that it aged too well, it's almost like, I've talked about this a lot, where I just feel like so many things in this show are evergreen. Like, it doesn't really change.
Yeah.
I mean, it like, so at least we talk about it now. We're able to discuss it, whereas maybe before we weren't able to talk about it. But it is interesting and such a kind of a mind fuck too with these kinds of shows with the satire, where we like kind of learn to laugh at the heartache in a way,
Yeah.
and the rage in a way.
Well, you have to.
Yeah, but I think they do such a good job of like bringing this to light, because I think there are so many people who see this and are like, no, that doesn't happen. But the way that they portray it is just like, oh yeah, it does happen. You know what I mean? So I think that they're really good at making you laugh at the reality. And yeah, I mean, and also showing how stupid they are. Like, I think about the debate episode as well, like all of the other candidates and how like just dumb they are, and
Yep.
how not like how Leslie is so far ahead but yet had to fight so much harder. So I think they just do such a good job of it. It's so good.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, so this part is fantastic, bringing all the people who don't like Leslie Knope. This is what we were talking about before, where we're on Joan's show. We've got Marsha and Marshall Langman, the Women of the Year people. Side note, Marsha and Marshall are played by Darlene Hunt and Todd Sherry. I remember getting really
Love 'em.
great voice memos from Todd Sherry, and he did his like abstinence rap or whatever.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, that's so. I waited till marriage, and the best part, I waited till marriage and then some,
And then some
to do it,
to
and
do
then
it.
some to do it. Oh my God, he's got his little keyboard. That's so good.
It's perfect.
They're,
oh my God.
For two of the most vile characters on the show, I love both of them so much. And even in
Me
this
too.
scene here, where it's like, Marshall is clearly like her beard. He's just like, go get him. It's just,
Yes.
and
She's fierce.
for them to come in, and that's what I love about this show too. Not just Parks and Rec, any show where you can get a guest like this, and it's like, hey, listen, we just need you for 30 seconds. Can you come down and because that's all they're in this
Mhm.
episode. But I love that
Right.
so much when you can get callbacks.
Yeah, and again, building that whole Pawnee situation of like the people in the town, but also just all the people who we've seen before who had problems with
Yeah,
Leslie Knope
it's
trying
like,
to
let's
be more
not forget about
progressive.
these people. It's like, the Langmans are still here. They still suck,
Yep. And yeah, Marsha. Okay, so this is again where it's kind of talking about the nuance of why everybody hates Leslie / is on a different side from her. And this is where Marsha is saying Leslie doesn't understand traditional family structure, but then the Woman of the Year lady hates Leslie for a different reason, as far as like being involved in this whole like misogynistic thing, and Leslie hasn't distanced herself enough. And then we've got Sasha Dunkirk, a leader of Women Against Feminism. And then, like you said, the man is mad that we aren't listening to the men.
Why can't we
Ooh,
ever
big
have a discussion
surprise.
about feminism led by a man?
Oh my God.
Yes, no, I
Which is
actually
crazy
agree with him. So
Right.
ridiculous.
Which is wild because we do have conversations all the time where men are in charge of women. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't even get me started.
God. But
But anyhow, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say what I love about this scene too is because it is yet another scene where Brandy Max just kind of pops out of nowhere. Because, the first time we meet Brandy is when they're on Purge show and Leslie's just like, what the hell? Like she looks over and it's the way they filmed it is that all of a sudden there's a woman there. So you're seeing this panel and I guess they didn't pan over, but it's still funny that it's like, oh, Brandy Max is here too. And of course,
yes,
always trying to support Leslie, but it always backfires. And I love her. And I know you've gotten audio from her before too on the show, right?
Yeah. Mara Marini, we interviewed her. Yeah.
She's been great. Like on my the Instagram accounts and stuff. She's been awesome with just liking posts and even replying to a couple of them. But her optimism and her love for Leslie on the show is it's always so Leslie hates it because it always just sheds a negative light and it's always like, well, we're the same person and everyone knows her as a porn star, but it's just so good. And I love so much how much she loves Leslie Knope, but it's like,
me too.
Leslie will never give her that credit because it's like, hon, I wish I could, but I can't,
I know. Well, that's a really good mixture of people to have. It's like the people who hate Leslie, but then it's like this one person who loves her, but it's not the best that
the rest of the town, doesn't like her. So it's like, oh, good, you have one fan, but the town hates her too. So yeah, that's a good point.
Oh my God,
it's a really good point.
So funny. So Sasha Dunkirk, who is the leader of the Women Against Feminism, is played by actor Caroline Fogarty, and she's done a ton of stuff. She did a great job here on this character with that one line of I actually agree with him. I don't need your pity. Again, you can't win.
Yeah. Yep.
Ugh.
So good.
Anyway, yeah, I just think this is a really great commentary that women just can never do enough. We can't win even though she's doing everything right. And B, that even women hate women sometimes. So how are you supposed to be on the right side or whatever it is?
Yep.
And then this is and I've talked about this a lot. I talked about this when Ron was saying that he was not necessarily on Grizzle's side, but he wasn't against them because he was working for them. And something I mean, again, I know this is maybe too political, whatever, but I just feel if you think that you're going to be safe because you agree with these people, with these bad people, women are going to be safe because they're on the man's side or whatever. And you're just not you can't win. I don't know how to get that through people's head. Even if you say that you're, with them, they will turn against you the second they can.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really love about Leslie, where she's standing firm and I'm going to do what I think is right regardless, because I know that, it's not going to lead to anything where we necessarily agree. This is just what I believe in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, yeah, this is it's a tough scene to watch, but it's really well done.
Yes, totally.
So Jen is watching this with Ben and Leslie, and Jen is like, I told you, this is a really hard gig to be a candidate's wife. And Leslie's like, okay, well, we can fix this. Just, let's just move on from this. We'll bring back the attention to Ben. And Jen says you could do this, you could do that, but this will just drag on forever if you do that. So the best thing to do is ignore it and say sorry. And that's when I was like, what? Apologize for what? But that is what a lot of campaign runners say to do, because that will smooth everything over.
Yeah.
And Leslie's idea to make a new group and bring back the attention and whatever is just not going to work in Jen's eyes. And Jen is just take 3 shots or it's like taking a tequila shot or whatever. I take 3 shots every time I have to enter this house.
Yeah. I think
I hate
it does suck, but yeah, Jen, we know that Jen's not the most moral person. I mean, we don't see her do evil, devious things, but we know she's, she'll do whatever she's got to do to win. So I see that, yeah, Jen is basically this is insignificant. Yeah, it does suck, being a woman telling another woman to just, hey, suck it up. But I think she's like, yeah, if you want to just, let's get beyond this. So yeah, it does suck. Yeah.
And sadly, I mean, like I said, I think Leslie, if this was just, her thing, she wouldn't say sorry.
Yeah.
But because this is for Ben and because it's for his campaign and wanting to move forward and support him, she's like, okay, I guess this is what I have to do. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so next we have Donna coming to Gary's house in the morning time, and she says she knows someone in maintenance that helped her get all of Gary's old stuff that he dropped, and she brought oranges for the fresh orange juice that him and Gail make, which is very special. Also, this begs the question of, like, why doesn't Gary call a maintenance person in the first place? Like, you could have done that.
I am a maintenance worker. The logistics behind this makes no sense because that grate would have been opened up at some point, like whether it was for like a flood or clogging or something. But yeah, I feel like for the many years he's worked there, I feel like someone would have probably either opened that or someone would have noticed shiny objects. But I'm fine with how it played out. That's totally fine. But because my first thought was, it's like, man, because if it was a maintenance worker who just happened to come upon that, would have just been like jackpot. Like, you're not
Right.
returning that. Not saying like maintenance workers are scumbags, but it would still be like, your first thought is like, man, this stuff's probably been on here for years. If there's no wallet or anything,
Sure.
so
Wait,
I
so
would
you're
have
saying, are
loved.
you saying that, like, Gary could have called a maintenance person
Oh
and
yeah,
he would have come out? Okay,
absolutely. Like I just and I the realism for me, and they didn't need to do it, but I would have loved to seen just a really quick, like maybe even a 2-second shot of Donna standing over a guy as he was pulling that stuff out, like telling him, "Nope, that's not yours," or whatever, something like that. Because
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
I just thought that would have been more realistic, but totally unnecessary. So,
Yeah.
but it is a great scene, and yeah, just this whole scene here is probably one of my top like 2 or 3 Donna and Gary scenes where she calls him buddy. Like, I think my number one is the wedding where she purposely puts the wrong nameplate so they'll start calling him Gary. That's unbelievable because I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like if you
That made me
maybe
so
if you haven't
emotional.
studied,
I remember that.
because I mean,
the
like the
wink.
fact that she knew that to get them to like make fun of Gary is how he would get his name back, because they all think it's a flub on his. Yeah, you know what I mean. But that, and then
Totally.
finally, a more comedic one. My other favorite one is just with the Ben and Leslie's wedding when they talk about the little Sebastian lookalike, and he's like, oh, and he like pees his pants, and she's just like. She's like, you nasty.
You nasty.
I just love that. Yeah. So those are probably my favorite Don and Jerry's. But yeah, this
I
one,
love
the
Donna
buddy part,
and Gary.
because you got to think too, for like season 1, they were in it, but they weren't in it. They had maybe a
Right.
total of 5 speaking lines, and
Yeah, they
listening
weren't series regulars.
yeah, when they got added, I mean, like Jim O'Heir would talk about that on the show, how him and Retta would just like be like, yeah, this might be our last episode. We don't know, but. Then Michael Shore
Right.
tells him it's like, no, the plan was always for you guys to be on the show. It took a little bit longer to get going. So those two having this moment to me is almost like, because those two kind of were together almost as the two that it's just like, well, there's those two in the background that don't talk much. And then of course, when, Rob Lowe and Rashida Jones left, they got promoted and they got their spots in the opening credits. So that's
a really good point. Like a full circle moment of
Yeah.
starting together and ending together. I think that's really beautiful too. Yeah. And I like that moment too where of Jim O'Heir, his little acting moment too, where she's like, you big B word, and he's like, oh, like, don't call me that. And she's like, buddy. And it's so sweet. And to me, it takes me back to the Christmas party, Gary's Christmas party, because with Jerry Filter, because she was the one that said that they should all go back and invite Jerry to Jerry night. And so she got in there because she has always felt a little bit guilty or sentimental or whatever and felt bad for him. So that kind of reminded me of that moment.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, Gary's house is like so nice. I saw like the sconce and it just looks so beautiful. Again, this is his amazing home life.
Yeah, because all we don't know how much money he makes. We do know he got a paid deduct. Remember when Chris Traeger when they found out because he didn't have enough education or something, or it's like they're like, well, we're gonna have to. JD's like, oh, whatever's fair,
totally fair.
But yeah, so it's kind of interesting. It's like, I wonder what Gail does, or if there's family money or something.
That's true. All right, so now we're at the old shoe shine stand with Councilman Milton. That was the ghost. And he's telling them that he just wanted to remember the good old days. This is, of course, played by James Green, who we've talked about before, and he has sadly passed away. I believe he passed away in like the mid-2000s, I want to say. So like kind of not long after this aired, I think. But anyway, he did such a great job of his character. I love it so much. And And they search the stand. They find the note that April gave to Andy. She says woof woof for some reason that they don't know why, but they still can't figure out why or where the key is and why she wrote and led them there. So it's kind of sad after a while because she's like, it's a dead end, you know?
Yeah. This is also, I think, the first time we found out that Milton's first name is Fielding. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of weird. Yeah,
with
Fielding
his little
Milton.
nameplate.
Yeah. And then his random, like, just racist comments throughout, you know, like when they're leaving, get off my boat. It's like, what the hell?
Or like when Mexicans weren't in the music industry or whatever the fuck he says. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, you weirdo?
Yeah, I feel like they dialed him up for this last appearance. Plus, he was getting older and more senile. Because before it was just, you know, like Tom said something about like ignorance or whatever. He's like, it's pronounced anchovies, you know?
Yes.
So, but I think for this,
to kiss Leslie.
Yeah, when he's face down on the ground, she tried to kiss me. So good, but God. So that was a nice him too coming back, and it reminded me of The Office when Creed colors his hair black to look younger. Yeah.
Yes, we've talked about that. That's exactly what it reminds us of. Yes. Totally. Oh my God, so funny. And this is where Andy continues to make fun of April for being into him, even though they're married.
Yeah. She's like, I loved how it does make me feel better. She
right, exactly.
It's a nice scene.
So because it's a dead end, Ron says to see him in his office, and it's like super serious and it's kind of scary, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now we're at Leslie's public apology. She says her 3 favorite things are Pawnee, America, and pies. And Ben is like, you don't have to do this. And Leslie is really nice and again supportive and saying, you know what, let's just put it to rest. Let's just do it. And Leslie gets up to the mic, and I love that she asks about the weather, like the most bland topic in the whole world. It's oh my God.
Like she's like trying to like feel out the crowd to get things started. You know, it's like, hey, how's the weather?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where it's so cute, and Ben can't stand it and stops her from apologizing and says he loves how independent she is. She's a great mother, public servant person, and everyone should just like stop talking about the stuff that doesn't matter. And this is so sweet where he's like, you know, you can say whatever you want. Like, I don't care about the political consequences. Like, it doesn't matter. Just say whatever you want. And I like this a lot. This is what we've been talking about this whole episode, where they're really great supporters of each other. They've both run campaigns before. I just really like this moment a lot.
It is an excellent one, and Leslie's speech here is great. And I, like, as a parent, this is another one of my favorite parts in the episode when she's going through and she's like, do I miss my kids? Of course I do. But then sometimes I don't. And they show the one woman in the crowd shaking her head or like nodding in agreement. It's so funny because it's like, yeah, we do. We love our kids, but it's just like, where's your kids? I don't fucking know. Like sometimes that is your thought. It's just like, they're fine wherever they are.
Yeah.
But that's just such a great scene. And yeah, how Ben, it's great. He's just like, I will not let my wife speak. Wait, that sounds wrong.
Right.
But yeah, it's like you said, it's an awesome scene. And when I was watching it, I did like when you see the two of them just standing up there, like just how they are as a team. It's awesome.
Yeah, so good. And yeah, I mean, to your point, I think it's really realistic to say like, no, sometimes I don't miss them because it's a lot and I'm tired and I just want some like 5 seconds by myself. Like, I think that's really realistic. And like you said, like people in the crowd are nodding with her. And like you also said too, like this whole speech is really great. And I love that she starts off with, you know, saying sorry, but not for the reason that you think. Like she says she's sorry that the attention is on her and not on Ben, because Ben is going to be an excellent congressman and make real change. This is when she says, and men's right, like, where are you? Like, men's rights, this is nothing. That's stupid. Yeah. Like, shut up. Which I love that. Yeah. And I also love the phrase of like giving permanent answers. Like, don't ask me these questions again. I'm going to give you these permanent answers. Are you trying to have it all? That's stupid. Like, that's a stupid question. Stop asking it. And then this is where the missing kids thing comes in, or not missing your kids.
Yeah.
And I like that too, where she says the haircut thing of like, why'd you change your hair? And it's like, maybe my kids got gum in it. I don't know. Or maybe I just liked it better. It doesn't matter. Like, stop it. I think it's really sweet too that I don't know. I feel like this line might have been cut, but either way, when he says, if you elect Leslie, like she's really smart, so you'll get twice the good ideas. I think that's really nice that he says that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird too. Like anytime you see, well, that's just another scene. I think when they show the crowd, like people like actually agreeing with it. You know, like him talking up Leslie, and it's always nice, and it's usually women. You know, never the men, but like them actually kind of like starting to. All right, maybe they're not so bad.
Yeah, totally.
So.
And I mean, Leslie's line here is the whole thesis of the episode, which I feel like is something that I think about all of the time, where kind of going back to Joan's show and the people on that show, like, if you want to bake a pie, great. If you want to have a career, that's great. If you want to do both, that's fine. If you don't want to do either, like, who fucking cares? Just like, don't judge someone for their decision on what they want to do and how they want to live their life. As long as it's not harming anyone or hurting anyone physically, emotionally, then like, get over it. And I think this is a really funny moment for me, the half booze and half cheers.
Yep. I wrote that down. It's a perfect encapsulation, I feel, of Leslie's career.
Yes.
Half and half. It's like, we'll take it. We'll take it. Because like so many of like the city hall, like the forums and everything like that, where it's kind of like, I'd say we're split down the middle.
Right.
So I love that. It's like, at this point, I don't care if I'm getting booed, as long as some people are cool with it, then
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, totally. Because in those forums, I feel like we started out with everyone being against her, and then as she got more and more, I mean, apart from the recall, I guess, like, people were for her, but it's kind of like what April said, where like they're it's not that everyone hates you, like they're just louder a lot of the times, so it makes sense. But, and then the whole like mailman guy coming up of like, let Ben speak, and she's like, he literally just spoke. His bike chain
like,
had an issue or something.
My bike chain broke.
My God. Again, loser.
Very good. The mailman. So good.
And so this is where we get to April and Ron. April's very upset because she thinks she lets Ron down. But then we learn that Ron actually never needed this key. He changes his locks all the time. But what's more important is that he really trusted her. And we, as the audience, definitely knew that too. And he admires her as a person. And he doesn't trust many people. So this is kind of a special moment that I think he just wanted to share with April, which is like, we needed to see, I think we needed to see this moment too, because of how sad he was when she left, first of all, but also how like kind of semi-angry he might have been at not finding the key, and we weren't really sure if that was a bad thing. But her leaving, April leaving was kind of what triggered his whole like leaving the parks department and the government and starting his own company. Yeah. Obviously when Leslie left, it was like a big deal, but he knew that Leslie was going to leave, and he knew that was, maybe just a stepping stone kind of thing. But when April left, his Nick Offerman's acting, we talked about this a lot in that episode, when he sees at the zombie pizza jamboree party or whatever, when he sees April, when he sees all these other random people that have joined the parks department, like his facial expression just being so sad. We see the reconciliation for Leslie and Ron, but we've never seen him kind of get over the April thing and how they were friends and how they're not really friends. And so I just love, I feel like we really needed to see this kind of coming together and being really special. And it gets even more special with the tree. Oh my gosh. So he says woof woof again, and it triggers her memory that woof woof means bark, and it's because of this tree that she dug up a hole and put the key in there, because it's always there when you need it, and it's strong and quiet, just like Ron. Oh, so beautiful.
I think when I was watching this, I forgot how good this end scene is, because I feel like the scavenger hunt is played for laughs, and I think you almost aren't expecting it to get this deep. And it was just like, like you said, like when she's just April, because April's very not April in this episode, she's not doing like weird, like she's actually kind of in peril this episode, so she is very like, like hugging Andy and being kind of like, shit, I screwed up. But yeah, at the end there, when she just, tells Ron these things, and it's like, because there's always been a father-daughter relationship with these two, and like even Andy to an extent, like being like his father too, when he has to take him to the dentist, because he broke his tooth. But it was fantastic. And I think I forgot about how good and impactful this scene was, because it was like, man, their relationship is just so good. And like when you found out that how little both of these two care about, like in their own lives, but how much they care about each other. And it's just, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it too. And then we learn that, the other common thread that they have, or thing they have in common, was that Ron chose that very tree to bury some gold under a long time ago, but he has since moved it. Or have I? Or was I lying? And I think this part was cut too. I think it
was, because I love that it cuts in the middle of him still going.
Yes.
Or,
that was so funny.
Definitely was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this is where we're wrapping up the episode. Elise comes back into Ben's office. This is where they're eating the pie that we're not really sure which pie it is, but they are eating a pie, so whatever. And she says that she loves what Leslie said. She loves the speech, but they loved Ben even more for letting her speak. And I was like, for giving her a platform. So they give Ben the Woman of the Year award. I would feel the same. First Ron, then Ben, and the whole idea of like you gave him her the platforms, not the actual words that you're celebrating. I was like, no.
It makes no sense. And one of my favorite things about this, though, I don't think Ben knows about the last time this happened because he's clearly excited to get this. So I feel, because like you see in season 7 when they find out, like, remember when Leslie's approached about being like governor and so is Ben? When she starts telling him that, he immediately is like, you can see his face. So I feel like if he knew about this last one, he would have been in support like, oh, this is terrible timing. Plus, like we said, this episode, the first Woman of the Year, was before Ben was in the show. So he might legit have no idea that this is the second time Leslie's been beat
Great
by
point.
a man. That sounds terrible.
No, but yeah.
You know what I mean?
They won.
So yeah,
whatever,
yeah. So I love that fact that Ben might be so excited about this until she's like, no, like you're not allowed to be. So
she's like, son
that's kind of a fun
bitch.
detail. Yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I know it's so funny. I don't know like what I get. Again, I'm being too analytical, but that's literally what we're here for. Where I'm just like, Elise, if you really were for the women, why are you even considering like being progressive and giving it to a man? That's just so weird to me.
And this is the second time you've cast on the same woman from, like, you got to think, it's like, do they give this to a man every year? Because the only 2 times we've seen them, they've given the award to a man.
True.
It's just like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah. It's a great detail, and it was so funny for them because Elise was pretty much out of the episode as far as we knew, and then it's like, wait, let's spirit one more just to do that one more punch in the stomach for Leslie losing to another man.
Absolutely.
You know, 5 seasons later, just
my God.
perfect.
It was perfect. It really was. Well, that's the end of my notes. And yeah, this was such a good episode.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you could join us. This was so fun.
Yeah. No, thanks again. Really, the only other thought I last thing I wrote down was just no Tom, which we talked about already.
Right, yeah.
And I just thought it was really weird that he's just not in these 3 episodes and it's unexplained. But
yeah, I'll have to do some more research about maybe why that happened. But yeah.
I would assume, like you said, my first thought was Master of None.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it was towards the end of Parks and Rec, so maybe they're like, yeah, just go ahead. We can right around you. So
right.
But anyway, okay.
Yeah. And then if you have not gotten enough Parks and Rec from this podcast, we can go to Citizens of Pawnee podcast that Bryon hosts that I know is now technically over, but still so fun to listen to. And then you can follow them on Instagram as well. And then what was, you have another Parks and Rec memes account too, right? Is it literally just called? What is it called?
It's just Parks Rec memes.
Okay.
Which it's been pretty inactive for a while. I mean, I still have it going every once in a while. But if you want to just like go on there and look at it says memes, but it's just me. I have like paneled scenes from the show. But it's a lot of fun. Brings back good memories and stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, Citizens of Pawnee. If you're ever if you want to check out
more.
A different take. But yeah, other than that.
Well,
Thank you so much.
I'll post everything in the show notes so that everybody can follow you and everything. And I appreciate you coming on. This was so fun.
Yeah, it was. Thanks for having me back. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, of course. Okay, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, both of the podcasts, okay? And don't forget to follow everybody, and we'll see you for the next one. Thank you, Bryon.
Thank you. Take care.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.